Okay guys, in today's video I will be showing you how to install a subwoofer in any car using a factory radio. You are going to need speakers on the rear deck, and you are going to need adapters for those speakers that you will then splice into and take the audio frequency to your amp and then of course to your subwoofer. Now keep in mind, everything in this video is already set up. This is not an installation video, but I'm going to show you how it's all set up because I feel like there weren't a lot of good videos out there on instructional things. So enjoy. Okay, firstly we're going to come to the power source of the entire thing. What you're going to need to get is a wiring kit, and I got mine from Scosche. It was $40. I will put a link to it in the description below. It was a 1600 watt wiring kit. Now, the only reason I got that, this is not 1600 watt, it's just because it had very good grade wire. I would recommend everyone to get 4 gauge power wire. And what we have here is you simply just take it to the terminal and you hook it up with a little bolt there. And what I did for mine is I draped it down in, and then back there, can't really see it, I'm not going to try, there is what you call a grommet in the firewall. It is a little circular thing, and what you're going to want to do is get in your driver's seat and look up at the firewall, and then you're going to punch it out, and it's going to be about a 1-inch hole, and then you're going to put your power wire through there and you'll be set. Okay, there's the grommet right there going into the firewall, and as you can see, the power wire goes right through it. Again, it's just a little plastic tab that you push through, hit it with a screwdriver. And then here is the add circuit hooked into the fuse right there. Number 17 is right below it, and that means it's 18. And then here's your diagram right here, and it will tell you all that you need to know. What you're going to want to do next is have a add circuit. And what this does is you're going to take your remote turn-on wire, which is how your amp turns on and off when you turn the car on and off. And what you do is you take out the fuse in the fuse box, and most likely you're going to have one under the steering wheel on the driver's side of the car. And you're going to then take the original fuse out, put it here, and then you're going to take another fuse of the same amperage and you're going to put it right there, and you're going to crimp the wire onto it and plug it in. Now what I did with mine, I had the fuse called accessory, and what happens with that is when the car turns off, it is also off, and when you turn it on, it's on. So you know, if you have one that it's on all the time, your battery's going to die, and that's the main thing. So for any Honda Accord owners with 8th generation, 2008 through 12, I use number 18 on the fuse box right under the dash, and that is going to be your best bet. If you can find one better, I invite you to, but that's what I used. Okay guys, next part is the wiring of the subwoofer. I know it looks a little bit confusing to some people, but it is very explainable. So what we have over here, from the front of the car, this is our remote turn-on wire. It's very small, and then it goes to the fuse box, of course, and then this is our power wire. And I have a nice little notch right there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take both of these wires right up to the amplifier. And I know this is hard to see, it's a little squinched, but right there you are going to plug in your 12-volt power wire and then REM for remote. And then of course you're going to have your ground right there, and I will show you that from the trunk lid. But here is the crucial step for installing a subwoofer with a factory radio. It is called a line output converter. There are a lot of very expensive ones out there, and then there's also cheap ones that don't work. But this one is good and cheap. It's very well known, the SNI 15 from PAC. And I got it from Sonic Electronics for $10. It can be found on eBay, Walmart, anywhere like that. And what it does is it takes the wires from the speakers, and then it comes down and plugs in to these wires right here. You're going to have to wire cap those, and they will come together. These brown ones are grounds. You will only need those if there's static in your system, but there was no static in my sound, so I didn't have to do that. Then it transfers the audio frequency from the speakers to RCA wires, audio in and out, and your left and your right. Now with this, there's really no diagram on here of how to plug these in. I just looked at other people's videos and plugged it in this same way. They're not color coordinated or anything, so just kind of follow what I have here if you're going to install this. And then they give you like a 10-foot cord here. I was thinking of maybe getting a shorter one, and then it plugs in to the amp I think in the front. Yes, and I will show you that in a little while. And then there's the wire to my subwoofer. It hooks in. I chose 14 gauge, just regular speaker wire, and I took that, and then it goes from there into the side of the box, and it was labeled red for positive, black for negative, and I even put a little bit of black Sharpie on my negative there, as you can see, and that's how I am able to tell which one is which. There's your ground wire right there from the trunk. What you want to do is you want to scrape away the primer that is on the paint, or if your car is better painted than this one, you will want to sand that away to the bare metal, and then from some opening there that I have covered in with sound dampening, you want to put the nut for the bolt on there, put a little washer, and put it up against. Now, as a matter of fact, the thing there that I have crimped onto the wire did not come in the factory wire kit, so I went to an audio store where I live. But if you do need to get something like that, you need to get the gauge of the wire and a little crimp like that, because that one has a hole big enough for the bolt to go through, and they're probably $1 or less, and you would just get that, and again, make sure you sand it down to the bare metal for the best connection possible. Okay, as I said, the RCAs are plugged in the front. These are coordinated, okay? This is how I have them here for more reference. The black and the red, and the white and the white. And here is the speakers for lining those up. What I did actually was I cut my rear deck, and instead of making them 6.5 speakers, I made them 6x9 speakers. Then I had to get audio adapters from, I got mine on eBay, and they're for speakers that aren't factory. Because as you can see, these have prongs on them for positive and negative. And what you had to do is undo the wiring harness and plug it into this, and then plug it into your speaker. Now, as you can see here, I crimped and then put male ends down for the wires, and that's how it hooks into the PAC SNI35 line output converter. And as you can see, you have to hook it in on both sides. Then that goes back, goes into the PAC, plugs into the amp, then the amp sends that to the subwoofer, and the subwoofer has audio. Now this is a 12-inch kicker subwoofer. It is 300 watts max at 4 ohms, and I have a little sheet here, $58. I got an incredible deal on it on eBay. eBay is where I went for all this stuff. My amplifier is a 600 watt, 1 channel at 2 ohms, and it was $120. I did get a refurbished one, but it was refurbished by Kicker, and I hear these work for a long time. Now, one thing that you have to keep in mind is this is 600 watt at 2 ohms, and this sub is 4 ohms. So with ohms, you either divide by 2 or you multiply by 2. So if you divide 600 by 2, it's 300, and then I have my 300 watt sub. I realize it's 300 peak, but I'm not having it the gain all the way up, as you can see. And for this amp, I find that it's very good to have the gain medium way, and then to have the frequency, the hertz, pretty much midway in the scale. And I never use bass boost because honestly it is not needed. A lot of people ask if 300 watts is enough, and yes, it shakes my rear view mirror and it surprises everybody it listens to. It's incredible. And what I have here is another thing I meant to show you guys. It is a remote bass knob, and what it does is it is a volume knob for the subwoofer. So instead of getting out of your car every time and adjusting the gain, it takes a 19-foot aux cord and sends it up to your dash. And it is a volume knob, and I'm about to show you that right now. Here it is right here, my volume knob. It is also kicker, and it was specifically made for this amp because some have, it's not an aux cord, it's like a special plug-in. It looks like an Ethernet cord sometimes. And I keep mine right at halfway. I put a little bit of a gold paint pen dot where the little thing is so I can tell where it is. And it was $23 on eBay. You can find one. I'm going to try and put it in the link in the description below if I can find it again. But that is a thing for any amp that you can get a volume knob. Makes it very convenient. I also had this little cubby here. I drilled a hole in it and took the wiring in from under the dash. Now, one thing that you do have to remember with this is that you cannot put audio wire and power wire next to each other. So what I did, I'll show you here real quick, is I have my power wire going to this side of the car and down in through the panels. And there's the aux cord. I have it going on the other side of the car. Now, thank goodness it was 19 feet because it pretty much just fit over to that side of the dash, taking it the whole way around the car. So that is a very cool thing to have, very convenient. Just some more things I wanted to share with you guys is this subwoofer box is called a ported box. And it has a very big opening, and for anyone who likes things with deep bass, whether that be hip-hop, electronic, even R&B these days has a lot of bass, it allows for the most boom out of that music, and that's why I got this. If you're looking for more rock and roll, you're going to want one with just maybe a hole right there, something of that sort. I got it from a guy on eBay who sells probably over 1,000 of these by now. It was only $35, and that's an incredible deal because I know if you buy one from Kicker, one of their boxes, you're paying quite a few $100s with the sub in the box and all that. And that was just a very good find for me. Again, I got the Scosche 1600-watt amplifier wiring kit. That was $40. I'll put that in the description below. I'll put the PAC SNI 35 in the link in the description below. And another thing I wanted to tell you guys is I also bought some sound dampening. As you can see up here, there's some GT mat. I found that on eBay. It is weatherproofing mat, but I put that in my doors because it was weatherproof. With this, I took all my trunk panels out and I put a actual like padded, it was 1/2 inch thick sound deadening, and it really made the trunk quieter. I put it down in my spare tire area as well, and it really proved worthy. There's some actually right there poking out there at the top. The one panel over here is just a big metal panel, and as you can hear, there is a difference. I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but here's the bare back door and here's the panel here. There's a very solid difference between those two. So just wanted to tell you guys that. Also, the ADA circuit I got from China on eBay, and it was about 99 cents. They're about $5 at Walmart, and it still works great. You can go whichever way you want. Told you about the 6x9s and the volume knob, and that is about it for this video. I bought this sticker on eBay. It was a few dollars. I thought it made it look a little bit nicer. And again, I've set up a subwoofer this way for a friend. I've told other people about it, and it's worked for them. And hope this video helped you out. Again, I felt like there wasn't a lot of good instructional videos out there. There is one for anybody who has the 8th gen Honda Accord like me. There's the guy who has about an 1.5 minute video, and he does a very good job at doing that, but I think he puts in a factory or a custom radio. So anyways, hope this helped you guys to make a more informed decision about your subwoofer install, and check out my channel for more videos. I have a lot of Accord videos and just instructional videos on different topics, and hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching.